Hello there everybody, this is Getty92 coming at you today with a special episode, actually the first episode, which is called Feels Like Dying, Anxiety or Disorder and Panic Attacks Part 1, how it started. And before we even get into the talking about how I actually got this disease or disorder or however you would like to describe this, I would like to share the official definition about what this diagnosis is actually about, because the medicine once again proves they can have excellent words for that. So it says, the main characteristics are recurring severe anxiety attacks or panic attacks, which are not limited to a specific situation or special circumstances and are therefore also unpredictable. And that's the worst thing about this, actually it is. As with other anxiety disorders, the main symptoms include sudden heartbeat, chest pain, choking sensations, dizziness, and feelings of alienation, depersonalization or derealization, fear of dying, of losing control. So that's basically what all this crap is about. And let me first tell you one thing about this whole anxiety thing. I always thought that mental issues were fake. I've always felt the way that if you have a broken bone or something like that on your body, that is clearly a disorder or something that can be fixed. But when it came down to mental issues, I always thought, well, come on, grow up. It's not a disorder, it's not a disease. I thought that for a long time, until I realized myself that I'm now in that game too. So it all actually started last summer in about June last year when I got my first COVID vaccination. COVID was a huge deal in Germany and I was really afraid of getting COVID because I'm not the healthiest guy myself. Last year I was 3 times in the hospital doing breathing problems and I felt that I was actually about to die. For a long time I thought that this was caused because of the COVID vaccination. I thought that. I really did thought that I was constantly get checked by the doctors there. So they took my blood, they made some various tests with me and the results finally came in. The results basically were, well, come on, Getty92, your body is working fine, it's all good with you, just relax. And that was always the point whenever I was in hospital last year, the 3 times, all the doctors said, just relax, your body is fine. And that kind of like is the thing that how I always thought about mental issues. Then if even the doctor says, well, your body works fine, your blood is currently pretty good, your vitamins in your body are working pretty good, there's nothing wrong with you. But still I was unsure about that whole thing regarding my body measurements there, and so I visited several doctors last year just to make sure that my heart is working good, that my lungs are working good. So in general I visited a lot of doctors last year. But at the end of the day, all of those doctors that I visited, they all said, come on, your body is working good, your lungs are great. I thought, well, there must be something about my health issues, there must be something. So I had to live with that kind of like panic attacks, which I call them now. So the months in last year passed by, the days passed by, and I had constantly problems with actually going out. I couldn't go by train, which is currently still actually mandatory to get myself to work, but I couldn't go by train. I had these kind of feelings that I felt like in case if something happens now in the train, nobody will be able to help me. I will not be able to get out of the train. It was actually a fear to go by train, to go by car, because I was afraid if something like heavy breathing problems would come back in that kind of situation, I would be doomed. I probably will die. And that feeling, I had this feeling for months. So 2021 passed by and I kind of like thought, well, this is now your health situation. It's all because of the vaccinations and basically I have to live with it. And maybe you guys who are following this channel have seen my statement about the Ukrainian war. So when the Ukrainian war started, I was constantly on Twitter for about 2 weeks heavily. But I had to get away from this situation and I deleted actually Twitter. I had zero information about what is going on in the Ukrainian war because I felt the more I know about this war, the worse I feel mentally. And that was the first time I actually thought, well, maybe there's a slight percentage of a chance that this all crap that I was going through since last summer is caused because of mental issues. I even couldn't recognize myself anymore. It felt like I was a very different person. And then all of a sudden, there came the moment about 2 weeks ago when you're seeing this video. I got some vacation from work actually. I took some time off in the last 2 weeks and everything felt great. Thursday, 1.5 weeks ago it happened. So I got into bed late at night. Those feelings came back. The feelings of having problems with heavy breathing, sudden heartbeat. That fear was back from last summer heavily, that I was about to die. But it got worse and worse. I felt like these were thickening and thickening and thickening. They were getting bigger and bigger, and I could feel that the blood pressure had some real struggle to get into the brain, or from the brain down to the body, I don't know. And I felt like, okay, this is maybe real serious shit that I'm currently going through. I have to get to the hospital. So I got to the hospital on Thursday night. They took my blood away from my body, of course, because they wanted to do some checkups there. I told them about the breathing problems, about the sudden heartbeat. And then they took my blood pressure. And my blood pressure at that point was at 170. And they said, you definitely have to stay overnight because this is a serious issue that you're having right now. And I felt happy, actually, for the first time, because I thought, finally, the doctors found something in my body that is not working perfectly and it can be fixed. Hours actually passed by and my blood pressure suddenly sunk at a normal about 129, so slightly above the normal, but it was all fine. It suddenly was all fine. From 170 my blood pressure went down to 120, and again I was in that miserable situation that the doctors told me, well, everything is fine, the results from the blood measurements came back, my vitamins in my body are on point, everything was fine. A doctor came in. I thought, well, I have to tell him again all those crap that I told like 7 or 8 doctors in the last year, and he will say that everything will work out, I don't have to worry. And this doctor was a normal doctor, he was not a psychologist, he was not an expert on mental issues. And he said, and he asked me, have you ever visited a mental issue doctor? And I told him no, because nobody told me, and I thought it was always an issue related to my body. He told me that's pretty common for a mental issue, for an anxiety disorder or for some panic attacks. That actually opened my eyes in that way, that I thought, well, mental issues are serious. So he gave me a pill to calm down, to sleep, and he told me that he's not an expert about mental issues, but I should get an appointment at my house doctor. So I tried to get an appointment, but I couldn't get an appointment until Monday. In case if anything happens with mental issues or health issues at all, I should come back to the hospital. So I woke up, everything was fine during the whole day until like 5 p.m. in the afternoon. The thing came back. The issues came back. The hospital doctor at that point there on Friday told me, well, we can't help you with that. We just can't help you with that. You have to go to a different hospital who are kind of like specialized in mental issues. I'm not insane. So I actually got to this psychological hospital or whatever you would like to call this, and it felt like the movie with Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I came in there and I saw the pure insanity of what people could have with mental issues. So I got an appointment there with a psychological mental issue doctor, whatever. And I told him. He said, well, you clearly have a mental issue problem. And we talked and talked and talked, and it all made sense to me. The Ukrainian war, the fear that I had there, the fear of getting the COVID vaccinations, it all made sense. In almost a year, visiting several doctors, it made sense to me, yes, for sure there is something. And I got the appointment on Monday at my house doctor. So again, I told my house doctor all of that crap that I was going through, and she showed almost zero interest. But I will give you some medicine. And that certainly made me think of, is this doctor really capable of handling people? I'm not sure. But the doctor said that she is not an expert on that. So here we are now. I'm currently feeling fine. I'm trying to live with that. Whenever I feel like I'm having that kind of like a panic attack, I'm getting a piece of paper, I'm getting a pen, and I'm starting to write. And this works out perfectly for me. And this is only the thing, how it actually starts, and I'm not saying that I'm suffering from that, because that always seems like to me, because I'm still not 100% a believer in these kind of disorders. But at the end of the day, I do believe that this mental issues with panic attacks and anxiety disorders, it's a real thing. A lot of you guys were responding actually and saying that you guys have been through this. And this made me think, yes, that is an actually disorder. I do have like a panic attack once or twice a day, but I'm figuring out slowly and slowly to avoid them, or how to avoid them, and if those panic attacks appear in my mind, because it's all a mind thing. It's all a mind thing, and that's the bugging thing about. So if anyone feels like what I've just described there, go to a doctor, visit several doctors. So I keep you updated every now and then about this situation. I do not plan to make this on a regular daily doses or basis, or whatever you would like to call that. But at the end of the day, if you feel like you're having something similar like that, look out for some help. So until then, I hope that I could help some people maybe to get your ass up, visit a doctor, and talk about that whenever you're feeling similar like that. And please look out for help, because you just can't help yourself. You just can't do it on your own. Take care, have a great day or great night, depending on what area you're living in on this beautiful planet called Earth, and see you soon. Bye.